Talk Sport Extra Time. We've got loads of time to take loads more of your calls, so keep them coming in. 08717 223344. Right now, though, it is time to stop everything and take stock of where we are. It's the new year, although we're not supposed to mention that because he gets very upset. Mr. Mike Porky Parry is back. I'm not going to wish you what I did last time because I know how upset you got over that.
Yep.
A lot of people have reacted quite well to that. Very nice to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mike. Good to be here. What a fantastic debate you've got going on the Theo Walcott situation. I'm all for your point of view there that abuse against footballers is something which, you know, no football fan has a right to assume is his right. To behave like that in a football stadium. And all I want to say about it, and then, you know, we talk about other subjects and you can get back to your debate later, but I quite know Theo Walcott. I know his family.
Yeah.
I know his dad Don, and he's honestly one of the nicest young men I've ever met in my life. And I think nobody's made the point yet that when he came off and he was sitting on that stretcher, two things. Firstly, he was smiling.
Yeah.
So whatever response he made to the Spurs fans was good-natured. And secondly, unless bright football and Theo Walcott would have turned his fingers around to make it like a V sign for the two.
Right.
Do you see what I mean?
And he was careful not to do that.
Exactly, where he made it the V for victory sign, the Winston Churchill one, to indicate 2 goals.
Yes.
With a 0, he was only replicating the score that had been on the scoreboard for the whole of the match.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway.
they don't complain that people putting the scoreboard numbers up are taunting them, do they?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So he's only pointing it out, and as I say, he could have been abusive and quotes witty and funny if he turned his fingers round. But the other thing is, he's so well brought up, Theo. His grandfather was once mayor of a little town in Devon.
Was he?
They've got a record of public service and all that kind of stuff. So I don't like any of the abuse dished out to Theo, and I think the reaction on Twitter from some Spurs people, it's beyond contempt, isn't it? But as I think his dad would probably say, they're ignorant people, so you can't take much notice of them.
More seriously for him and his dad, of course, is the injury, which is going to keep him out of the World Cup, apart from anything else.
That is interesting, because I'm not sure how you gauge injuries these days, because modern science can do wonderful things. Now, piece in this morning's Telegraph, Michael Davison, football medicine specialist, points out that people have come back from these sort of injuries as quickly as 77 days after they've been incurred upon their knee. And although that would be a record, that was, which player was that?
That was about 3 months then, isn't it?
77 days is 2.5 months, something like that. Yeah, getting on for 3 months. But that was a guy called Khedira, Brazil. Sami Khedira, that's right. He came back in 77 days. But I think also, Mike, what's going to happen here is this critical debate between medics at Arsenal and medics at the England camp. Because if he comes back just unable to play 2 games at the end of this season, Arsenal won't want him to go to the World Cup because with such a terrible injury, having just recovered, they won't want the fragility of that injury to be tested over a World Cup over the summer. They'll want him fresh for the start of next season.
Yeah.
So I can see trouble ahead there.
Yeah, I can see trouble ahead, but with a bit of luck, he could be ready for the World Cup. It doesn't look very good, though.
It'd be brilliant if he was, because I don't want him to miss another World Cup. We all know what happened in 2006 when he went out to Germany, never got a sniff. And then 2010, for some mad reason, Fabio Capello dropped him. And of course, this was going to be his world stage down in South America.
Yeah, no, absolutely it was. And of course, he was having a great season as well, and that's the problem for him, isn't it?
Terrific season. Although he did have an injury early on in the season, didn't really start playing until kind of November, did he?
Yeah, no, absolutely right.
Yeah.
Now, before we talk about any more football, I
sure.
want to talk about a bit of a shopping expedition that I did.
Shopping expedition? Oh, you go shopping, do you, occasionally?
I do go shopping occasionally, because I want to ask you a question about Poundland. Have you ever been inside Poundland?
I've never been in Poundland, no. And not that I'm saying I'm some kind of snob who doesn't go there. I just don't know what they're selling there, so I've never...
Well, they sell things for £1.
Well, yes, obviously.
It's called Poundland.
Yes, I know that.
It's a clue is in the name.
Yes, I know that, but what I'm saying is, if I'm suddenly, walking down some high street and I think, I need a roll of sellotape now, I think I'll go to Poundland and get it for £1. Or if I'm saying to myself, I tell you what, I think I need a bottle of bleach now, I know, I'll go to Poundland and get it for £1. I don't know what they sell in Poundland.
You should go to Poundland. They sell everything in Poundland, because you can get everything from, bulbs to plant in your garden, if you've got one, or in your window box in your penthouse.
No.
You can get pens in there, papers. You can get all sorts of interesting sort of, cooking utensils. Don't know what happened there. And
I get my cooking utensils from Debenhams.
They also sell DVDs. I've got some news for you. Is you are actually, I found a DVD of you in
rubbish.
Poundland. So you've joined the ranks of the people who are completely and utterly, down on their uppers. If you want any better description of it, right?
Unless it was Paint It Black, which was my takeoff of the Rolling Stones mega hit, which of course got to number 46 in the charts. I've never made a DVD, so it can't be me.
Yeah, well, it is you, and here it is.
Hello, I'm Mike Porky Parry, and welcome to TalkSport's interactive quiz. Now, we have thousands of fantastic quiz questions for you, backed up by loads of audio, loads of video, loads of great moments from the history of sport. By playing this game, we're going to find out just how extensive your knowledge of sport is, and at the same time, how much you know about me and my fellow presenters here at TalkSport.
Well, so what do you make of that then? You've never made a DVD. So was this during some part of your life that you've lost all memory of?
No, that's an impersonator. That's not me.
It's not an impersonator.
I know.
There's video of you speaking those words.
Rubbish.
Would you like to hear yourself describing the rules of the competition?
No, not really. I don't remember doing this.
When you're fighting it out in teams, both teams will be required to answer 10 questions each. The team that wins will be given 1 point for winning the league.
You're looking
the numbers that lose
incredulous.
will get 0 points. The overall winning team will, of course, be the team that wins the most leagues. There's a chance that the teams can draw, but you don't want to do that, do you? Here at TalkSport, we only like winners. So, enjoy the game, and may the best team win.
Well, I'm sorry, that must have been...
I must admit, if I hadn't watched it myself, I would not have thought that was you, because you sound far too nice. You sound... Many years ago this was made. It's from 2006, right? I've got it in my hand. TalkSport's interactive quiz. I'm going to tweet a picture of it. It says, hosted by Mike Porky Parry. And there's a lovely cartoon image of you there as the host.
Just have a look at... Oh, that's ridiculous. That shows me to be about 3 times as fat as I really am. It shows me with your sort of proportions of double chins and... Well, I have no idea where this came from. The only thing I can think is...
the thing that staggers me is you don't remember making it.
No, I don't remember making it. I don't even... Maybe
you didn't make it after lunch or something, did you?
Well, I was going to say I was either tricked into making it by, being told it was something else, or...
Which is possible in 2006.
Or it could have been one of those days when I did the breakfast show with Al and we decided to, have a refresher after the show. And I must have come back at 2:30 in the afternoon and done it. And, frankly, it kind of escaped my memory.
Well, I mean, we're going to be tweeting this out, and there's some funny questions in it as well, which we may ask you a little bit later on. But as part of my shopping trip, and this is what was astonishing, right? Yes. I took my 6-year-old son, my younger one, with me.
Yeah. What's his name?
He always likes to visit Poundland. Yeah. Christopher, his name.
Christopher, right.
He likes to visit Poundland.
Why do you like to visit Poundland?
Well, it's a great place.
Is that the only place you ever buy him anything?
Well, no, because kids, when they save up, because when he saves up his £5...
I bet you take a load of pound coins into Poundland and say, oh, look.
Yeah, I do.
Here, son, I'll buy you a brush, because it only costs £1. Here, son, I'll buy you...
actually, I'll tell you what happens.
I'll buy you a coal hod, because it's only £1.
A what?
Coal hod or whatever.
What's a coal hod?
Well, it's the thing you put coal in on the grate, isn't it?
I see.
Yeah.
No, we don't do that. What it is that, because he likes to save up his own money to go shopping. Now, no point me taking him to Harrods. He hasn't got a few £100. He saves up £5 after doing some stuff around the house.
Where does he get his money from?
He gets pocket money for doing chores around the house. So he gets 50p here, £1 there. So he goes with his £5 and he wants to buy something. Yeah. And this particular day, he only actually had £1. That was all he had to spend, right?
So he bought my DVD?
No, he didn't, no. Funnily enough, he didn't choose that one. He decided to buy a James Bond film.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So we went up to the till, and part of the ritual of taking a kid shopping is that they buy the stuff themselves. They learn about transactions. Yeah, exactly.
And so
we had all this money, it all saved up in change, right? And the guy behind the counter said, I'm terribly sorry, sir, you'll have to give me the money. I said, beg your pardon? Because the kid's like holding the money out to him. He's like, no, you'll have to give me the money.
What's wrong with it?
I said, why am I going to have to give you the money? He said, because the James Bond film that you're buying is a 12.
Yeah.
I'm like, so what? You mean he can't buy it? Yes, he can't buy it.
Should have said my son's sex is 50p.
I should have said that, shouldn't I? But I wasn't quick enough. Yeah, very good. But then the next place I went to, right, was what can only be described as a DIY shop, right? Because I wanted to buy an axe.
An axe?
Yeah, an axe, yeah.
What am I an axe for?
Because I want to chop some wood. Does he chop wood with an axe?
That's a nonsense.
I thought an axe.
You're chopping wood up?
But I take my son into this place, right? I pick up an axe, walk to the till. Nobody at the till says, what are you going to do with that, mate? Or what are you going to do with that, sir? Yeah. I just walked out with an axe. So for all I know, I could have been walking outside to chop somebody up with it.
Well,
they're very sharp, these axes.
Could have asked you, couldn't they? Excuse me, sir, do you have any history of being a mad axeman when you buy an axe?
Or maybe, shouldn't they have some register or something? If you go to a supermarket now and try and buy a knife or a spoon, they quiz you on how old you are and all that.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't look under 16, Mike, to be honest.
It's not a question of that.
Look over 60.
If you go and buy a bottle of wine, they still have to come and say into the machine that you look, as far as they're concerned, you look old enough to buy it. They do none of that for the axe.
How do you know about that?
Because I've seen them do it.
What? When you buy a bottle of wine,
yes.
they have to tick some box on their machine saying this. Well, what about when you pay for it yourself in these self-serve?
That's precisely when they do it. That's what I've seen them do it. You know, if you try and if you go to one of the self-service things, scan everything out.
Yeah.
The guy has to come over because it flashes up a warning that they have to approve it to make sure that the person buying it is old enough.
Utter nonsense.
Well, that's what goes on.
Aren't you taking this rural retreat that you've just moved into a bit far, going out buying axes to chop down trees?
The weather's been so bad, right, that the trees have been falling literally all over the place.
So you're nicking all this wood?
No, it's all in my garden.
Well, it's not
yours.
Loads
of trees in the garden.
It's not yours.
Yeah, it is. These trees are grown in my garden, so and they've now fallen down, and so apart from the fact I have to clear them out of the way, obviously, why would I pay loads and loads of money to get wood imported to burn?
I thought all wood belonged to the Queen or something.
Oh, I should take it up to her then, do you think?
Well, now, of course you don't take it up to her. What I mean is you can't go...
of course it doesn't belong to the Queen, idiot.
In medieval times, you'd gone out and started picking up wood and chopping it up. You'd have had the Lord of the Manor after you, and you'd have had one of your hands chopped off.
Talking absolute nonsense.
I'm not talking nonsense.
Wood.
I know what I'm talking about.
No, you can buy, like, a load of wood for 45 quid. They come a pallet load, and they'll come and dump it outside your house, and you can burn it on a fire. I've got my own wood. All I need is an axe to chop it up with.
And a fire.
And a fire.
You haven't got a fire, have you?
I've got a fire.
What have you got?
I've got a coal-burning stove. A wood-burning stove, rather.
You've become one of these sort of green
I'll show you a picture of it.
Maniacs, have you?
No, I'm not a maniac at all. Just as well, because I bought an axe.
Yeah,
if I was a maniac, we'd all be in trouble. This is TalkSport Extra Time. He's Mike Parry. I'm Mike Graham. We are the two Mikes. We'll have some more after this.
Hello, I'm Mike Porky Parry, and welcome to TalkSport's interactive quiz.
I have to say, the TalkSport interactive quiz was a huge hit with my kids, even though it was mostly about stuff that they've never even heard of because it was so old. I mean, one of the questions, for example, was what was the nationality of the referee in the World Cup game featuring England and Argentina in the Hand of God goal by Maradona?
Yeah.
Do you know the answer?
No.
No. Well, you're the quiz master.
Who was it, by the way?
Any ideas? Roughly? You know, what part of the world he was from?
I bet he was from... Well, now, hang on. It was in Mexico. It was a South American team and a European... But he's from Africa.
He was.
Was he?
He was from North Africa.
North Africa. So...
I guessed wrong. I guessed that he was Moroccan.
Libyan?
I can't remember.
Egyptian.
No,
I think he was Egyptian.
He was Tunisian.
Tunisian, there you go.
I thought he was either Moroccan or Egyptian.
Yeah, okay. Well, there, I got that.
And the other one was, what's Paul Gascoigne's middle name?
Paul...
You remember Gaza?
Yeah, I remember Gaza, yeah. Paul...
Your memory's really failing, isn't it? You don't even remember making this thing. That's why the answers are.
What is Paul's middle name?
John.
John. Paul, that's right. His dad's name is John.
That's right.
John Gascoigne.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely right. I'm not surprised that your little boy is 6 liked it. And how old's your other boy?
9.
Oliver, that's 9. Because you know what? Kids love my face. Little kids love my face.
What, because they're always laughing at it? Doesn't mean they like it.
No. There's something very warm about my face. You know, I'm a sort of cross between a sort of Santa Claus and a grizzly bear.
Werewolf.
No. A sort of, you know, kids are fascinated by my face. And when I was a bit younger...
Well, I suppose they would be if they ever saw you.
No. My beard was sort of auburn coloured, you know. Kids
before it went grey, you mean?
No. It hasn't gone grey.
Of course it has.
Don't be
you're right.
ridiculous.
It's white.
Don't be
It's
ridiculous. It's just...
You're like Kenny Rogers.
It's just matured. Anyway, the point is, often I would be sitting on a train or something like that, and some kid would reach out and snatch my beard.
In first class, presumably.
Well, not really. A little commuter train, you know, half an hour journey into town or something. And a kid would grab my beard and pull it. And no. Well, I had one kid hanging off my beard once because they're fascinated. They were fascinated.
And what were you, just chuckling merrily like Santa Claus?
Yeah, because kids are fascinated by my face.
Isn't it?
No, seriously. Whenever I'm anywhere...
Well, I'll tell my 2 kids that when they see you, whenever that is that you bring them presents, that they can just hang off your beard because you really enjoy that.
No. Whenever I'm on public transport, anyway, kids get fascinated with me and they stare at me. And actually, it's quite embarrassing sometimes because obviously I'm saying their parents. You know, yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah, but anyway, I can't help it. It's just an attraction I have.
Yeah. I've got something else to pick you up on, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
You know, as a result of something that I said, a slip of the tongue that I made last Thursday night.
Yes.
You know, I appeared on Clips of the Week.
You did.
Okay. Because I was running through, we were talking about Sam Allardyce, and we were talking about exactly how much money he was making, 2.95 million a year, I think. And he makes more money, basically, than the German national team manager, the Brazilian national team manager, and, of course, Laurent Blanc, who's the manager of PSG, Paris Saint-Germain.
Yes.
Now, inadvertently, I think because we'd been talking about food or something, I said Raymond Blanc. I can't explain why I said it.
Yeah.
And it turned up in Clips of the Week. It's now been picked up by the papers, right? The 3 PM boys in the Mirror have made fun of me Well, did you give it to them or something?
No, of course I didn't give it to them.
Well, they've repeated it as well. They've got me down in the football gaffes column.
Well, it was a terrible gaff, wasn't it? Those boys listen across everything, and if you stupidly misinform the world or something like that, then they always go. I mean, I wouldn't get too worried about it, Mike, because they do have a whole section devoted to me over the years of alleged gaffes I've made.
Well,
problem is, I feel sometimes my intellect is a little bit superior to the guys who write those sort of columns.
Yeah, well, that's true. But the problem for me now is that, people think that I'm some kind of gaff-prone person, and I very rarely make any kind of gaffes about people's names. And what I'm interested in asking you is, why didn't you correct me? Because you didn't correct me.
I didn't correct you because I thought that would have humiliated you live and open air. I'm a pal of yours. I have been for many years, and I didn't want to point out that you had confused one of the greatest defenders the world's ever seen with one of today's celebrity chefs. I didn't want to do it, Mike.
They got the same
people
name.
Think you were a
They've got the same name.
They haven't got the same first name. It would make people think you were a thick numpty who couldn't actually, decide between a cake, which was clearly on your mind, because food is on your mind most of the time. That's why you're a pretty horrendous shape. and the lithe and, fit sort of body and mind that a footballer has. You confuse the two because it's absolutely obvious to everybody around here exactly where your priorities lay, and that is stuffing food into your face, not getting out onto a training field.
I want to talk about Sam Allardyce because here's something for you.
Go on.
He is making more money per year than Roberto Mancini at Galatasaray, Rafa Benitez at Napoli, Raymond Blanc at PSG. You see, no reaction for you at all.
I've just explained why not.
Me. No, if you make a mistake, I usually correct you because it helps you.
Oh, you do, because you tried to show me up on air.
No, I'm not trying to show you.
You know that because I have a superior...
You didn't know that Raymond Blanc was wrong. That's why you didn't correct me. Wrong. You didn't know it was wrong.
Of course I knew it was wrong. Of course he was wrong. Laurent Blanc played for Manchester United, didn't he, in this country? So I'd be very aware of that, and very aware of the fact that he is now the coach for PSG. So,
really?
Of course, Mike, I knew the moment you said that, I thought that fat fool...
Well, why didn't you say it to me?
That fat fool has just made one of the biggest gaffes I can remember.
Well, why didn't you tell me then when we went off air so that I could have apologised for it when I came back from the break?
I didn't want to humiliate you, and I didn't want you to humiliate yourself by coming back and saying I'm so unaware of my surroundings and what's going on in the world. I confuse a chef with a footballer. I mean, which idiot would do that?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's not go into all the mistakes that you've made over time. Talking about humiliating yourself. Talking about humiliating yourself.
Name one mistake of mine. Go on.
Well, I can't. The show's not long enough.
No, it's because you can't think of one.
I can think of
many
mistakes that you've made over time. Anyway, how about this, right? You were spotted at the Everton game, the magic of the FA Cup and all that, right? You were spotted at the Everton game.
Yep.
Glad hand. In fact, Adrian Durham reported it live on TalkSport on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I heard.
And he said that you'd been seen moving from your seat, which is some distance from the director's box, and sort of hanging around down the front of the director's box, sort of reaching over, desperately trying to shake hands with people as they were trying to kind of move away from you.
No.
That was pretty much what I heard.
No. People who go in the director's box are mostly my friends. I know them very well. And in fact, I was invited into the chairman's boardroom after the game.
The inner sanctum.
Did
you go?
No, because
Quite right,
I went up and down on the train on Saturday, and I had to get away
first class?
to Lime Street. Yes, I did, yes, which I paid for out of the money I'd saved through not paying £8 a day for a packet of cigarettes you do.
Been through
so over a month of 30 days at £8 a day, that's £240. My first-class return fare... Great bargain, actually, in advance, cost £105. So put that in your pipe and set fire to it, pal, OK? And,
well, so, I mean, why didn't you go and meet all these people then, since you're so keen to hang out with them?
Because I had to dash away afterwards to get the train back home. I don't like hanging around, after games and just absorbing drink, because people get out of control. So I dashed away. But the point is...
So you didn't have a drink on the train, then?
Oh, I might have had a can of beer or something. But the point is that the people I was meeting are old friends. For instance, Jenny Seagrove, the rather beautiful actress, Sorry?
Have we all been in the theatre together then? Why is she such an old friend of yours?
Well,
then?
Considering...
Were you in a sort of Cambridge Footlights together or something?
No.
Were you, Porky?
No.
Porky and Jenny?
No. What's wrong with you?
Well, you've gone theatrical on me.
I've gone theatrical.
Jenny Seagrove's an actress.
Hang on. Mr. Kenwright, the chairman of the Football Club and a friend of mine, is the world's biggest theatre impresario, you thickhead.
Oh, right.
Didn't you know that?
Even more of you there, then.
No. That means
that
he actually has...
Do you talk about the theatre when you're there?
Sometimes.
Do you talk about the theatre?
Yeah, sometimes I do talk about the theatre. Yeah. I get invited to first nights in the West End.
Bit of Ibsen, perhaps?
I don't know what you're going on about. I get invited to first nights in the West End to appreciate the culture of theatre and that sort of stuff. Go to the old first night party afterwards, which is always very nice.
What about Beckett? Any Beckett in there?
I don't know who Beckett is. Who's Beckett?
You don't know who Beckett is?
Yeah, Thomas a Beckett.
Well, not Thomas a Beckett, no. You should talk to some of these theatrical people and ask them about it.
Most of it's modern stuff. For instance, Martin Shaw was in the last one I saw.
What, the bloke from The Professionals?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Right. It was a musical?
No, it was not a musical at all. It was, it was a straightforward play.
Oh. So what did you talk to Jenny Seagrove about then?
I talked to Jenny about her new horse sanctuary, of which I'm a patron.
Oh, right.
And I donate money to help starving horses.
Super.
Yeah.
Marvellous. That's a lot of work for charity.
What's wrong with you?
Well, you've suddenly become a lovey.
No, I haven't become a lovey.
I had no idea that this was part of your personality.
Well, considering Mr. Kenwright has, two lives, one in the theatre, one in football, he's bound to see a lot of actors. His partner in life is Jenny Seagrove, who's a very, very famous actress, who's been in all sorts of fantastic films.
Yeah, I just can't imagine her having a conversation with you.
She was in Judge Dredd. Right.
Oh, that's a great one, that. She's one of my favourites.
She's been in Lewis.
Very sensitive she is in that, isn't she? Judge Dredd.
She's been in Lewis, the award-winning TV series. She's been in everything. And I like Jenny. She's a wonderful girl.
Yeah, but I just can't imagine you
Lovely
talking
girl.
about that kind of thing with people like that.
Well, you can't imagine a lot of things about me, Mike, because you stereotype me as some sort of thickhead who spends half his life recovering from the night before.
Okay, darling.
And the other half of his life...
Keep your hair on, darling.
Trying to educate the world in things they don't know about.
Mike Porky Parry, the thespian, will be back in Act 3 on TalkSport.
There's no business like show, business like no business I know.
And of course, Lancashire, the home of the Lancashire hot pot, the home of roast beef and Yorkshire pudding.
Everything the traffic will allow.
What was that you were saying about never making any gaffes? You made a whole career out of gaffes. We're talking, of course, about Mike Porky, the thespian Parry, who's now back from his trip to the theatre and is mingling with all these friends from Equity. Have you got a card now, have you?
No, I haven't got a card. And listen, you're an elitist snob.
I'm not at all elitist.
Yes, you are.
I'm the least elitist person you've ever known.
I just think it's disgraceful. I mean, what's the name of that kid who did all the ballet dancing from the mining village? Billy Elliot, right?
Billy Elliot. Oh, you've seen that?
No, but you're like...
Super, isn't it?
You're like Billy Elliot's dad. Just because the kid wanted to get into ballet and all that, you accused him of being not a real man and all that kind of stuff.
How's that being elitist?
So I don't know what's...
the opposite of being elitist.
Yeah, well, you're an anti-elitist then. I don't know what rubbish you're talking about. Anyway, listen.
I have seen the Bolshoi once.
Oh,
but I walked out at half-time. It was so bad.
I have seen a production of La Scala in Milan.
Have you?
Yes. How about that?
What's the storyline about?
Well, it's not a storyline. It's the world's most famous opera house.
Yeah.
And it's called La Scala. And you go in there and all these guys are singing. And it's really good.
So what did you see?
I don't know, but it was very good.
Well, it was all in Italian, I suppose.
It was in Italian.
So you get your head around it.
No, I couldn't actually, but it sounded great.
Yeah, I'm
really.
sure. Yeah, I'm not a big opera fan, I have to say. Now, let me address you to the morning papers. There's a story here that I'm sure is going to take your interest. Now, according to what we knew, on motorways, you've talked about driving an awful lot in that kind of duff car you've got, right? Keeps breaking down, whatever it does.
Yeah.
Right? Apparently, I thought they were going to put the motorway speed limit up to 80 miles an hour.
So did I.
According to the papers this morning, EU rules on air pollution say that you're going to have to drop it to 60.
Absolutely disgraceful. Sometimes, Mike, you're asked all these questions when somebody's interviewing you, like, favourite film and all that kind of stuff.
What is your favourite film?
My favourite film of all time?
Yeah.
Godfather 2 or Top Gun. No, Top Gun's brilliant. Top Gun's brilliant.
Is not brilliant.
You take my breath away.
Top Gun's horrendous.
It's not
one of those films you watch because it's a good, bad film.
No, I could watch it time and time again. I love the music score as well.
Yeah.
But the greatest record ever that opened the film was Flashdance. What a feeling.
Was that the opening of Top Gun?
No, that was Flashdance.
Oh, I see. So you like the opening of Flashdance?
And the woman singing in that was Jennifer Beals, wasn't it?
I think it was. No, was she not the actress?
No, well, who sang it then? Was it
Irene Cara, was it?
Irene Cara, could have been Irene Cara. Yeah, well, she was in like I'm Gonna Fly, wasn't she?
I haven't seen that.
I'm Gonna Live Forever. I'm Gonna Learn How to Fly. That was her as well. Fame. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, listen, get back to this, right? So in this particular quiz, I was asked, what's your favourite film? What's your favourite film? And then one law you would change. Oh, sorry, if you could change one law...
Who was asking you these questions?
Oh, I don't know, somebody from a local newspaper. If you could...
you see the way you say that with a sneer?
No.
You do.
No,
you talk about me being an elitist.
No.
You are the biggest snob of all time.
No.
You say that because what you really mean is, somebody doesn't really matter very much. I can't remember their name.
Well,
I don't know what paper they work for. I get interviewed so many times. And all of my showbiz friends are quite frankly fed up with all of these paparazzis following us around.
And the question was, if you could change a law, which would it be? And I said, well, I've already changed laws for me. me because I drive at 80 miles an hour on the motorway minimum all the time.
That's illegal.
No, well, it might be, but they should change the law. And I said, and as they're going to change the law anyway, I feel I'm only doing what everybody else should be doing.
Well, to be fair, most people drive at minimum of 80, don't they? But they give the point is they give you like 10% plus 3 miles an hour, don't they?
I'm not sure, do they?
They're meant to.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, listen,
as a kind of a sort of wiggle room.
I've spoken to enough economists because I studied economics, of course, at A level. Yes.
Who's your favourite economist?
Well, certainly not Keynes. Definitely not Keynes.
No,
definitely not. I've made my mind up, but definitely not Keynes. Adam Smith.
Adam Smith?
Yes.
Somebody just give you that one?
No.
Are you sure?
No,
what was the name of the book he wrote?
The Wealth of Nations.
Oh, very good.
Right, thank you.
Okay.
Now, what I was going to say to you was, so I speak to economists and I say, what would the effect be of raising the speed limit from 70 to 90? They say, at least 2% growth in the economy of this country. So that's what we should do.
Good luck if you could ever do 90 on a motorway, especially around the M25.
You can't around the M25.
I mean, you can in the middle of the night, but not during the day.
You can't, no, but there are some motorways where you can. For instance, I would say one of my favourite motorways is the M40, and there's a fantastic bit of the M40. There's the private motorway up there. It's called the Midland Expressway.
Oh, this is the toll road.
The toll road.
Yeah, that is a good road, yeah.
It's fantastic. There's never any traffic on it. I just put my foot down, off I go. It's perfectly safe.
Is there never a speed trap on that, though?
No, there's no speed cameras whatsoever.
Yeah, I like that road. That's a good road.
There are unmarked police cars. You have to be a little bit careful. But my point is...
I don't know how you've escaped, actually, because you haven't really had that many speeding tickets in your time, have you?
Last time I got a speeding ticket was about 10 years ago. I'm not a reckless driver. And I'm not talking recklessly about driving fast. What I'm saying is the Midlands Expressway, the toll, is an immaculate road. There's hardly anybody ever uses it.
No, it's true, yeah.
It's a fantastic service. There are no potholes. The road has been built with fantastic elevations on either side, so you can see for miles that there's not any hazards or any problem like that. And I just don't see any reason.
And it's a very smooth surface. I'll tell you the other road that's almost always fairly deserted, and that's the M74, just as you go from Gretna Green up into Scotland.
Right.
And it's a 3-lane road, and there's hardly ever any traffic on it.
I think that's an eerie road, that.
Yeah, it goes through the southern uplands, through it kind of meanders around through the hills.
I always get the feeling that, something dreadful's going to happen in this country. It's going to happen up there. You know what I mean? Like
there's a couple of castles and things. It's quite enchanting.
A plague of locusts or something like that.
A bit far north for that.
Perhaps it is a bit, but you know what I mean. Anyway, point is that to now say that not only are we not putting it up to 80, we're now putting it down to 60. Yeah. And it's the goddamn EU regulations again.
Well, they're talking about air pollution, right? They're saying that
rubbish.
The levels near schools and homes are going to have to be down to 60.
But there's no schools near motorways.
Well, there are some.
A bunch of fools. There are no schools near motorways. Schools are near dual carriageways, they're near A roads, but they're not near motorways.
Well, it depends on what they call
How
near,
many schools do you ever see going around the M25? Seriously?
Schools going around the M25?
Yeah.
Well, there aren't any schools go around the M25.
You just said there are schools near motorways.
The schools aren't moving.
How many schools have you seen close to the M25?
Oh, you mean as I'm going around the M25?
Yes, of course.
Well, I haven't really seen any schools because I'm not looking out for schools. I'm looking out for the traffic ahead of me, and normally it's at a complete standstill.
You just made the outlandish statement there are plenty of schools near motorways.
Well, no,
you name me one school near one motorway.
I said
Go on,
it depends
name
on
me one school near one motorway.
Well, there's plenty on the M40 as you go out of London.
Utter nonsense.
There are. But the point is, and on the M4 as well, there's some. Because the M4 starts at Heston in Middlesex, right? And there's schools out there.
On those parts of the M4 and the M40, which are still in Greater London, you couldn't get anywhere up to the 30 or 40 miles an hour, let alone 80 or 90. So that is a nonsensical statement.
All I'm saying is it depends on the EU's regulations. If they say the proximity to a school is about, 10 miles or something, then they're going to catch a lot of schools, aren't they?
It's an utter disgrace.
Well, I don't know what they're thinking of, because it was only, as I say, a year ago that they said they were going to put everything up to 80.
I don't know. By the way, I had an interesting
I was going to ask you, actually, how your car was doing.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yesterday morning, Sunday.
This is the car, by the way, that you bought most recently. You replaced the Jag with the Merc.
With the Merc.
So far, it's almost gone on fire.
Yeah.
And you've had all the tyre pressure blown out by champagne bottles.
Champagne bottle that ran over on New Year's Day.
So what's happened now then?
Well, what happened? It's quite amazing. This. Actually, this is quite funny. What happened was, I went and fed the ducks yesterday, which I do as many mornings as I can, and I get back at 7:30.
It was quite frosty yesterday morning, wasn't it?
It was quite frosty. It was quite frosty. So, anyway, I come into the underground car park the car, and I'm away, and I don't use it for the rest of the day. I went out and walked a bit later on, except I got a terrible attack of sciatica in my left leg. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's agony. It was agony.
Can you take anything for that? You're only taking hundreds and hundreds of pills.
Well, that's what causes the sciatica, unfortunately. It causes
muscle. Stop taking them then.
Well, you can't, because then the heart would stop working.
Oh, so you can't have everything.
Exactly. Yeah. So I take all these tablets for the heart, but I get muscle wastage, and I feel like a right crock. Some bloke thought I was throwing up over the wall, but I wasn't. I was leaning on the wall because my leg had gone so bad.
Well, you shouldn't be walking then if you've got the injury, should you?
Well, you get an attack on it, just instantly. Anyway, point is, so this evening, around about 10 o'clock, I go down the garage, and I can't believe it. As I'm walking towards my car, I thought, hang on, there must be a flash of the light, except it's dark outside, so it couldn't really be a flash of light unless it was a lamppost or something. Yeah. And the lights are on the car. I can't believe it. So I open the door, as you do with the old clicker, Yeah. And as I open the door...
Sometimes that's the first clue, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
Because the doors don't open because the battery's dead.
Yeah, but at least the lights are still on. And then as I open the door, the dinging noise, ding, ding. I thought, hang on, this is not going to work. Yeah. So, unlike the Jag, this one has a connection key.
Yeah,
the Jag
it's like
has
a keyless car.
Yeah, that's right, that's the thing. So I put it in and turned it, and it started first time. I just could not believe it.
Are you sure it wasn't like the parking lights you'd left on?
Although
that's normally just one side.
Yeah. No,
I've never understood parking lights. Why do you want parking lights?
No idea. Anyway, point of my story is, I remember being in the bath last night, right? Round about 8:30.
Not an image I wish to think about.
No, well, okay, that's
the triangular bath, is it still?
It is. No, it's not triangular. It's a deep sink bath type thing. You know what I mean? And
it's a sink.
No, it's not a sink, but I mean, it's not triangular, it's a big oval thing,
Right, okay.
Anyway, the point of my story is, there was a knock on the door. Now, I very rarely get knocks on the door, because I never allow anybody into my place unless I know they're coming.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
they have to come up from downstairs, presumably, which is a locked door downstairs,
Yes, that's right, that's right. But occasionally, the Mormons get in. Just occasionally, the Mormons, they do. They ring every bell.
How do you know they're Mormons?
Well, because I've looked through the spy hole and seen them, and then not bothered answering the door.
How do you define a Mormon, then, by looking at them?
Dark suit, white shirt, black tie, carrying a Bible.
Okay.
Yeah, and
they couldn't be Jehovah's Witnesses, could they?
Oh, that's what I think I mean. Well,
they could be Mormons, or they could be the Men in Black, of course.
Yeah, they could be. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. One of those three. Anyway, point of my story is, I thought, and sometimes
it's quite an important distinction, by the way, Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons.
I suppose it is. Sometimes it's a neighbour from another part of the block who wants a name on a petition to.
They're always troubling you, aren't they? These people.
To implore.
Perhaps it'd be somebody from a local paper wants to interview you.
Well, funny enough, I was about to say that in a minute. To implore the landlords to clear the gutters or something like that, and I can't be bothered with that. But actually, believe it or not, sometimes it is an errant fan who wants to sign a picture, wants me to sign a picture
who's
or
just
something.
Found your address from somewhere. I'd be a bit worried about that. That's stalker territory, isn't it?
Well, a taxi driver sometimes tells people where I live and that kind of stuff, and it's sometimes happens. So
you don't mind that?
No, I don't mind.
So people turn up at your door that you don't know, asking you to sign pictures.
Yes, they do.
How often does this happen?
About once a year.
Really?
Yeah, and
I thought the same woman.
No. So I thought it could have been one of them, you see. So I ignored it. Anyway.
So you ignore them when they come round?
I do ignore them, yeah, I have to say. I've got an iron gate on the front of my my house, because for that very reason.
Maybe if you opened the door once and signed the picture, they wouldn't keep coming back.
I don't know about that. But anyway, look, the point of my story is, I reflected when I got in the car tonight how lucky I'd been. And perhaps that person last night knocking on my door could have been a neighbour who had brought his car into the garage, seen it, and you can work out the number of the apartment because it's the numbers on the floor of the. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
In white, whatever it's called.
Well, presumably they know it's your car anyway. If they
not really, because I've just changed it, so perhaps they wouldn't have known. But I mean,
because there's not a lot of point leaving a note on somebody's car saying you've left your lights on, is there?
Not really, because by the time you get back, the battery's gone. But anyway, so here's the agenda to the story, the addendum to the story. So when I started coming in tonight, I thought, blimey, I need to check whether the battery is actually up to speed.
Yeah, because I mean, is there not something in a Merc that tells you how high voltage the battery is or how well charged it is?
Well, there is, but in modern cars with computers, you have to go looking for it on your computer. It's not all there like it used to be on a little
red light or not.
That's right, yeah. So anyway, I'm burning along, and I'm probably doing about 50 or something like that, in the coming out of stockbroker belt territory.
Yeah.
And I suddenly push a button on the computer, which I thought might, say, indicate a range of options. And in fact, I put on something called, what was it? Speed vortex or something.
Speed vortex?
Or something like that.
There's some kind of polar vortex going on with the weather. That's what they've been talking about.
Oh, well, hang on. I'm getting confused.
Polar vortex is very cold weather.
It said...
There's a vortex in there.
Right, it said...
Unless it's the Men in Black's car.
Yeah, listen, mate. No, honestly, it said something like speedathon, but the problem was, the minute you push this button, the car came to a grinding halt. I nearly went through the windscreen because it reduced the speed to 25 miles an hour.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, you're in a 25 zone or something?
No, I don't know. I've no idea. And this big circle came round the speedometer, stopped at 25. I went, ugh, like that. Thank God I had my seatbelt on. I've gone straight through the windscreen.
So, you don't have much luck with this car, are you?
Not having much luck with it.
You think it might be time to kind of go and take it back quietly and just say, look, I don't think this is really for me?
Well, no, I don't think so. But anyway, look, I have to say, God knows where they got the battery from, but wherever they got the battery from, I'll let you know, because you should get one, because that battery lasted nearly 40 hours.
That's pretty good. That is pretty amazing.
It is very good.
But so how did you get the speed back up away from the vortex of doom?
What happened was, I flicked around with the switch, and eventually, I'm not joking, after about 4 minutes, and I this time got a car behind me, flashes lights, want to know why I'm crawling along at 25 miles an hour on a dual carriageway, you know.
Right. Why didn't he just overtake if it was a dual carriageway?
I don't know. I've no idea. And I was fiddling with the fiddle
the
stick
vortex
or whatever, and eventually it clicked off and the car shot up to sort of 50 miles an hour again.
That sounds
and then
a bit
it went out the
worrying
back
to me.
window.
Well, if I were you, I'd have a look at the handbook when you get home and make sure that you're not hitting the wrong buttons.
I think I will. Yeah, I think you're right.
Now we're nearly out of time, but we can't go without talking about West Ham, because obviously Sam Allardyce is or is not safe, depending on who you talk to. And now Harry Redknapp's been tipped to go back.
Well, that's a couple of newspapers this morning, which people will see when they wake up in a few hours' time, are predicting that if anything happens at West Ham, and if Sam leaves, Harry Redknapp, who was last manager there 7 years ago, I think, would be the favourite to go back.
Very upset Billy Bonds, didn't he, when he was there? Because I mean, Billy
they
Bonds,
fell out big time.
They fell out big time. Still don't talk to each other.
Billy Bonds accused Harry of knifing him, really, to get the job. Harry, of course, has always denied that, including in his book, which was a very, very popular selling book, by the way.
It was.
I think it's 170,000 he sold now, that Alex Ferguson.
There was a great picture, actually, of Alex Ferguson's book on sale in some bookshop today on Twitter, between Stalin and Mao.
I saw that. And Lenin, I think. Lenin,
Stalin and Mao.
And Mao.
That's Alex Ferguson.
And he's sold about 750,000 of those books. An incredible performance.
Yeah, absolutely right.